in any way that any member of this board thought that this report would not be released, ultimately, at least most of it. But until we got the report, until we studied it, until we had a chance to discuss it, until we had a chance to have our attorneys analyze it and give us advice, we would have been irresponsible to have just said, oh gee, a lot of people think we should release this, let's just print it and copy it and hand it out indiscriminately. We did what we believe was the right and responsible thing, to take our time and give it due consideration and to weigh everything. And I think I've heard a lot of opinions in the board discussions. You may hear some more of them tonight. I don't think fundamentally anyone disagrees with what I've just said. Now, there may be some disagreement about should something have been redacted or should this have been left out. But the essence of making this information available to the public, I don't think there's been any dispute within our board about it. And probably won't be any tonight. Now, there may be a negative vote, but I doubt that that's because they don't think there's a right for the public to know. It's because they wanted something redacted that may not be agreed upon by the majority. And the motion that's before us to vote on is to release it just exactly like we received it. So when you get it, if this motion passes, it'll be exactly what was put into our hands. Nothing left out, nothing changed, nothing altered. Is that good or is that bad? I don't know. It's not for me to say. I'm sure each reader will have his or her own opinions about that, whether we should have released it all or none of it. But that's not for us to decide. Our responsibility is to make the information available to the public. We acquired it to address a public interest and a public responsibility. We paid for it with public funds, and it certainly concerns the public's interest. And I'm delighted we're finally through the process and at the point where we are going to make some decision about it and move forward within addressing the things that are in it and taking curative action about those things.
I just want to say I wished I had Mr. Boat's eloquence. I agree with everything he said.
The only thing I wanted to say is there are many people that want this report released, but there's people that do not want this report released. Just so you know how difficult this decision has been for each one of these board members, even for those that want this report released, think about if this was your mother or your sister or your dad or your brother or your child that's listed in this report. So please understand how difficult this decision has been. I know you're frustrated with the time frame, but when you're dealing with people's lives, you cannot make decisions overnight. This board has been criticized because of the time frame, but please understand you're dealing with people's lives. But in order for this school system to move forward, we've got to do as a board what we honestly feel, each one of us. This may not be a 5-0 vote, but please understand that everybody is voting the way they feel is in the best interest of this school system. I appreciate your support. I appreciate you all staying here tonight. And just know how difficult a decision this has been for each and every one of us.
I want to make one more comment about the time frame too. In order for us to discuss this, I think most of the community doesn't realize, but in order for us to discuss this, we had to all be at the same place at the same time, and we needed our superintendent and we needed our lawyers with us, so we had to match up 8 schedules. And every one of us has responsibilities outside service on this board. I think you know from your attendance at these meetings, we take this very seriously. And we're involved in a very heavy way. But just getting us together has been a logistical problem. Those of you who were here a week ago Monday night saw after our first discussion of the report, we sat here in front of you and talked about when could we get together again, and it was tonight before all of us could even be here. 10 days passed. And that's the kind of problem we've had getting closure on it. It hasn't been that we didn't read the report and didn't study it and didn't have opinions, but we couldn't take action until we'd all gotten together and shared those opinions and were ready to vote. And that's just taken time. And we wish it had been done the day after we got the report, I promise you. We'd like to have not been so heavily criticized for taking so long, but there are reasons why it has taken this long.
Any other discussions?
You want to clarify what time Saturday morning?
9 a.m. 9 a.m. Saturday morning. At this time, if there's no further discussion, as board president, I would like to take a roll call vote. The vote is to release the report as the board received it. Mr. Beach?
No.
Mr. Bolt?
Yes.
Mr. Defnall?
Yes.
Ms. Baker?
Yes.
And I vote yes. To your memory, Joe. The motion has passed to release the report. It will be on the website at 9 a.m. Saturday morning. If there's nothing further, this meeting is adjourned.
You can decide.